What's up, everybody? Cameron Martel with Watches You Could Afford, and I'm back with another Liv on my wrist. This one is the P-51 Titanium Auto Chrono in the blue-orange colorway. This 46mm pilot's watch is at the top end of the affordable spectrum with an MSRP of $1,370 US. Now, in the world of watches, $1,400 can be considered both expensive and barely even entry-level, and the difference about how you feel about that price point depends entirely on what you value in a watch. For example, $1,400 for this watch is a good price and a good value in my mind, because in addition to packing an ETA 7750 automatic movement, sapphire crystals top and bottom, Swiss BGW9 Super Luminova, ceramic bezel, 100 meters of water resistance, an excellent lightweight titanium 46mm case, and more, it's also handmade by a company that gives a lot of cares about the products that they produce, and there's something I appreciate about that. Alright. Now, when you go to the Liv website, what you're going to find when you see the P-51 is a bunch of bearded, handsome guys with manly mustaches standing next to iconic fighter planes, and that kind of makes sense. The P-51 is a World War II era P-51 fighter homage, after all. It's a classical pilot's watch in many respects, and Liv would probably recommend you pair this beautiful watch with a jacket that looks like this. This is a Vactaire pilot's jacket, leather, top grain, handmade by 6 or 8 very talented people in Los Angeles. It's a great jacket, and dare I say, it looks great on me. But I want to make a different argument, because I think that this watch pairs equally as good with a different type of jacket. In fact, I think it looks better. And so might you if you ride one of these. Let's check out this watch. It has been a long time since I last wore or shot a pilot's watch, so being able to spend the past few months with the Liv P-51 on my wrist has been pretty nice. Plus, with the weather finally turning my preferred side of comfortable, it's been a great excuse to get out the camera and take some photos. I spend most of my professional life living, breathing, walking, talking, and squawking all things power sports and automotive. My day job is running a network of power sports and automotive communities, and these days, my day job and my hobbies seem to be bleeding together pretty often. One of my good friends and colleagues, Jim Pruner, once told me that in his mind, riding a motorcycle is the closest thing 99.5% of us will ever get to flying a fighter jet. And he's right. There's just something uncanny about a motorcycle's ability to move your soul. The svelte and sculptured bodywork is often just the beginning. The engine thrumming between your legs, and the power and ability said thrummage represents, it's intoxicating. Just like the feeling you get the first time you really twist the throttle and learn what your machine can do, or how it can make you feel. Watches do the same thing for a lot of people, myself included. Their mechanical underpinnings work tirelessly, and with incredible and not long ago impossible precision. And these are designed and made by talented watchmakers all over the world. It's almost romantic. When the P-51 arrived and I took it out of the box, I immediately knew that where I'd love it the most was in the cockpit. And in this case, I picked a 2019 Indian Scout, but really there's no bad cockpit when it's one with 2 wheels. The P-51 was meant for speed. The racy leather strap, for example, perfectly accentuates a cafe racer style, a popular bike aesthetic in rider subculture, one that celebrates bespoke bike builders and the moving artwork that they produce. A cockpit needs to be legible. At speed, the ability to read your instruments and react quickly is life-saving. It matters in any cockpit, regardless of how high off the ground that it is. And here is where the P-51's 46mm case works to its advantage. With big hands that you can actually see while the bike is in motion, not that I recommend making a habit of taking your eyes off of the road. And so while Liv went out to design a pilot's watch that paid homage to one of the most iconic American fighters of all time, a successful endeavor as I'll explain in a moment by the way, what they created works for fighter jets of all types, even the ones with 2 thin strips of rubber connecting them to the ground. Before we go too much further, I do want to call out that Liv invited me to do this shoot and video as a paid gig, and that I chose to keep the watch as compensation. I stand behind my thoughts, but in today's era of fake news and fake reviews, you should know the biases and motivations behind the content that you consume. Okay, back to the watch. This particular model is the P-51 Titanium Chrono in blue-orange. And it's not a small watch either, sizing up at a hefty 46mm in diameter. And it stands a full 15.5mm tall. Not one that tucks under a cuff easily. The P-51 has a ceramic unidirectional titanium and ceramic bezel, the 120 clicks in BGW9 Super Luminova applied to the numbers and indexes with a screw-down crown. With that crown screwed down, the P-51 is rated for 100 meters or 330 feet of water resistance, which is sufficient for a watch that you can wear every day. You shouldn't go swimming with it, and definitely don't hop in the steam shower, but you can wear it when washing your hands and encountering water in other normal everyday situations. Liv uses Sapphire on the top and back of the P-51, and when paired with the titanium case, it holds up well to the abuses of daily wear, and it's going to look good for a long time. I've had this one for months, and it still looks brand new. This is pretty typical of a Liv watch, mind you, but even more so thanks to that titanium case. This particular P-51 is paired with the Pilot by running a camel leather strap, which I think captures the Pilot's motif the best. But you can get the P-51 with your choice of 5 straps or a lightweight titanium bracelet. The straps are quick release, which will save your lugs a bit of wear if you want to swap straps out to suit. The camel leather strap is plush and pliable, albeit a bit stiff when the watch first came out of the box. It softened up pretty quickly though. The strap tapers shortly past the lugs, a nice detail that keeps the top end of the strap in focus, with the strap that is sized appropriately based on every viewing angle, a little bit thicker up top to coincide with the larger dial, and a little bit thinner down below because the buckle doesn't need to demand all your wrist presence. The dial is a departure from the usual style that you see in a Liv watch. Most of their collections feature what's called a sandwich dial, which is a dial composed of multiple layers like a sandwich. The P-51 instead opts for a more traditional flat dial. This isn't good or bad, by the way, just a notable deviation from other watches in the Liv collections. In the blue-orange colorway, the dial matches the ceramic bezel perfectly, and viewed dead on, the dial feels like an extension of the bezel. The orange accent color is reserved for the sundial hands and the chronograph seconds hand, the 0 to 15 seconds outer ring, the start-stop pusher, and the crown. A small touch here and a small touch there that contrasts nicely with the blue. It really does pop. Between 7 and 8 o'clock is a chromed-out World War II-esque airplane silhouette reminding me of a Spitfire or a Mustang, and the day-date display sits directly above the tasteful Liv logo. I say reminding me, by the way, of a Spitfire or a Mustang because it's not a P-51 perfect silhouette, but it's pretty close. It does have a lot going on, but it's easy for the eye to find its place because of the choice use of color and other visual elements that focus the eye. Shifting gears to the movement, Liv is using the ETA 7750 Chronograph, which is a 25 jewel movement that sports a 42-hour power reserve and a beat rate of 28,800 beats per hour, or 4 Hz. This movement is one of the most widely used Swiss chronograph automatic movements in the world, and for good reason. It's considered one of the best workhorse chronograph movements available today, being both robust and accurate. Liv, by the way, regulates their movements in-house to be within plus or minus 5 seconds per day, which is excellent accuracy and reflective of the P-51's place in the segment. You should rightly expect a $1,400 watch to be accurate. The rotor is decorated with Genève strips and the Liv logo special edition livery, but otherwise the movement is clean and unblemished. It pairs up with the black titanium caseback nicely and looks excellent. I really love when Liv sends me watches to wear because they put a lot of energy into their watches. The finishing and attention to detail feels as good as anything Swiss made that I've had on my wrist, and that includes some pieces at much higher MSRPs than any of the Livs that I've worn, including this one. It's a pilot's watch that adapts to suit your style, up, down, or otherwise. I appreciate its build quality, and I feel really good recommending it. A $1,400 watch should feel as premium as it looks, and I think Liv delivers with the limited edition P-51. Hey, thanks for watching the review all the way to the end. That's pretty sweet of you. Not a lot of people do that anymore, honestly. My analytics are all like, yeah, people get bored after like 2-3 minutes. Anyway, if you're interested in infrequent but honest watch reviews, please consider subscribing to the channel. You can check us out, www.watchesyoucanafford.com. There's also the Facebook and Instagram feeds, although admittedly I don't update those very often. Now I have an opportunity to hit the streets and go for a ride, and I think I'm going to take that opportunity. So, I got a great watch. Awesome jacket. Lid, because you gotta stay safe. And if you got a bike, I suggest you do the same. Cameron Martell with Watches You Can Afford, Web Bike World, Best Beginner Motorcycles, Badass Helmet Store, Return to the Cafe Racers, and MotorbikeWriter.com. Thanks for watching.